All right, good morning, 7th graders, maybe afternoon or evening. So this recording is meant for Wednesday's class, March 18th. So for me, that's happening tomorrow. So for today's class, you will need your textbook, and you will need your interactive notebook, and you will need your notebook where you keep your notes. So we're gonna do Manifest Destiny today. That is chapter 15. And you guys will follow along the slideshow. You need your textbook, your interactive notebook, and your personal notebook. As always, since this is a video, if it's going too fast or too slow, you guys have the power to, press the pause button or to go ahead or behind, again, so you pace yourself. So we're doing Manifest Destiny and the Growing Nation. That's lesson 15, chapter 15. So the first thing you will need is your interactive notebook. So we're on page 141, and we're in the preview section. So in your notebook, I need you guys, that's probably going to be below your vocabulary, go ahead and write the title, Lesson 15, Preview. Okay, so once you have that title, Lesson 15, Preview, you see in your interactive notebook on page 141 that you have 5 questions. Those 5 questions are about this painting that is in front of you. So this painting is called American Progress. It was painted by John Gast in 1872. Okay, and the question is, if we were in the classroom, obviously we would have a discussion, but it's just you and me right now, so we can't really do anything besides looking at the picture together. Again, we're in our interactive notebook. We do not have a partner, so we are on our own. We are writing in our interactive notebook and in our notebook. So in our notebook right now, go ahead, write lesson 15 preview 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because you're going to answer all those 5 questions. Okay, so the first question about this painting is, which groups in the painting are moving from the east towards the west? So this is the east. Who is moving from the east to the west? What are the groups? And what are they bringing with them? What can you see? What do they got? All right, so that's the first question. Again, you can hit the pause button. So write that in your notebook. Number 1, answer the question. Number 2, what are some possible reasons these groups are moving west? So again, take a look at these people. Who are they? And why are they probably moving to the west? Again, please answer this question in your notebook. All right, then what groups are already in the west? What's happening to them? So who is already in the west? What's happening to them? That's your third response in your notebook. And then who's the main figure in the center of the painting? What might she represent? So that's number 4. And then 5, do you think the artist John Gast believed that US expansion in the 1800s was justifiable? So justifiable means it's okay. There are good reasons why US expansion is okay. So why or why not? Again, this goes in your notebook. So questions 1 through 5 should be in your notebook under the title Lesson 15 Preview. Good, we're moving on. So my assumption is, oh yeah, that's right, we're gonna look at the results of this. Manifest Destiny is portrayed as a woman floating above North America. So she represents Manifest Destiny. She carries symbols of progress and modernization. So she has a school book and telegraph wires, which at that point was like an iPhone or some other new technology, right? So she's bringing progress to the West with knowledge and modern technology. All right, the right side of the painting, east, is lighter than the left side, so it is not as dark. So we are bringing light and understanding to the west, more or less. American Indians and wild buffalo are fleeing, or they are being pushed to the west. The painting American Progress illustrates Manifest Destiny, a view that favored the westward expansion of the United States in the 1800s. In this lesson, you will examine this concept and how it influenced the United States in gaining 5 different territories that extended the nation from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean, so from the east to the west. All right, so this part you should have already done with my substitute teacher last week. You have the title in your notebook, Lesson 15, Vocabulary. You found the definitions to all of these words in your textbook, and you gave me a real live example for all of those. Okay, so the essential question for this unit is, how justifiable was U.S. expansion in the 1800s? Again, do you believe it was okay that the U.S. went from the East Coast to the West Coast, taking all the land? At this point, you will do that at your own pace. Go ahead and read section 1. That's the introduction to this unit, which is on page 279, Introduction. Go ahead and read that. Okay, so in your notebook, just under the preview title that you already wrote, go ahead and answer these questions. Who coined the term Manifest Destiny? What does it mean? In addition to gaining land, what else did the United States have a duty to do according to Manifest Destiny? And what were some of the forms that Manifest Destiny took during the 1800s? Which of these forms do you think are justifiable ways to acquire territory? Explain. Again, I would just number them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this goes in your notebook because we can't have a discussion as we usually would. I need you guys to just write down your thoughts, please, in complete sentences. If you need more time, go ahead and pause. We're continuing. All right, so this is interesting. This would be an activity we would usually do in class, and I'm trying to adapt this. And if you look also in the shared notes, you have this picture in your shared notes, and you have it right here. So in your, hang on, here are the shared notes I've been talking about, right here. Okay, so in your notebook, go ahead and write the title Virtual Activity, and then give it a smaller title just below the Louisiana Territory. So we have a bigger title and a smaller title because we're going to be talking about different territories. Okay, so this is in your notebook. Okay, so the Louisiana Territory is our title, and then go ahead and try to draw this. Again, maybe you have to pause this video. So below the title, draw this abstract image of the United States. All right, so we are going to disregard these instructions because we do not have a shared classroom at this time. We can't move around desks, or we're by ourselves. All right. So again, you're just drawing this in your notebook, nothing else. We can't have any people acting anything out, so we're going to do an adapted version of this. So this is just giving you a preview on how to participate during this activity. Okay, so here we go. We're acting this out. Not really though, because you're just going to follow along the video, and whenever I tell you to add something to your notes in your notebook. I'll let you know that, and you guys just pause and do that in your notebook. Okay, let's begin our first acted out, the Louisiana Purchase. So as you guys know, as of now, we have the United States in 1800, and we bought the Louisiana Territory. Okay, so you need to be aware of the several important locations. You are going to add that in your notebook. So first, Washington, D.C. Go ahead, add a little star, name it Washington, D.C. Maybe pause if you need to. Then the Louisiana Territory, well, we're aware of it. Go ahead and circle it if you want to. The Appalachian Mountains, we're going to add them right here. And the Mississippi River. Again, this is an abstract form of the United States. So go ahead and add all these features to your drawing in your notebook. Make sure it's neat. So when you take a picture and share it with me, I know what you did. All right, also we got New Orleans. Right there. And France will be right here. Hang on, there it is. Okay, again, click the pause button if you need to. Add all of these things to your abstract map in your notebook. Now we need volunteers. Well, we don't, right? We are not acting this out. So if we were in a classroom, we would be acting this out together, but we are just following it along. Okay. I'm going to be the narrator. In the year 1800, France controlled the territory of Louisiana, which included the city of New Orleans. Many American farmers were moving into and settling the region between the Appalachian and the Mississippi River. Okay, action. Well, okay, if we were playing this out, some of you guys would be moving over here in the classroom, but we're not, so we're going to move on. These farmers worked hard tending and harvesting their crops. Again, you will be acting this out, but we're not. When it came time for farmers to sell their crops, they would load them on boats and float them down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. Oh, what? Are they going to use the canals and all those things we learned during the transportation revolution? I sure think so. Okay, you guys know about that already. Once in New Orleans, the farmers would load the crops onto ships and send them to markets in city on the East Coast or in Europe. Oh, yep, we know that already. France had plans to settle Louisiana on the other side of the Mississippi with their own farmers. Remember, we have to gasp. Okay. Shocking. American farmers looked across the Mississippi where French farmers might someday settle and began to panic. They feared that only French farmers would be allowed to use the port of New Orleans to transport their crops. Okay. You don't have to add this. Okay, you're good. President Jefferson understood the farmers' concerns. He called for James Monroe and said, "Go to France and offer to buy New Orleans for $2.5 million." All right, again, if you were to act this out, James Monroe would do this right now. Monroe set sail for France. When he arrived, he presented his offer to the French foreign minister. Okay, "I will sell all of Louisiana to you for $15 million. To Monroe's surprise, the foreign minister said, "Well, we already got that." Again, we're supposed to gasp. Monroe was stunned. Instead of just one city, the nation would gain a piece of land as large as the entire country. "I'll take it," he said. Days later, Monroe signed the treaty that gave our nation the Louisiana Territory. Boom. Okay, so this, and I believe we already learned about the Louisiana Purchase together in class, so this was just a repetition. At this point, I need you guys to read section 2. That depends on your book, as always, but the title is the Louisiana Territory. In my book, it's 15.2, the Louisiana Territory, on page 280. It goes on to 281, so 2 pages. I need you to read that and then to go to your interactive notebook and you will answer the questions to section, well, for me, it's in your notebook, it says section 1, right? That's on page 141 and 142. Okay, so again, you are reading in your textbook the Louisiana Territory on pages 280 to 281 in your textbook, and in your interactive notebook, you're answering the questions on 141 and 142. Again, please write neatly. Once you're done, take a picture of it and attach it to Google Classroom. Please submit all of your work on Google Classroom from now on. Otherwise, my email inbox will be clustered with so many responses that it will be hard to keep track of it. Okay, so once you got this done, take a picture of it and add it to Google Classroom, as well as your notes that you've been taking. Take a picture of that as well. All right, so the next step then would be to look at your notebook and your interactive notebook and to compare it to my solutions that I'll add in just a second.